Hey, Mark, thanks for joining us today. As way of getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Matt Smith, not Mark.
Sorry.
I'm with, no problem. I'm with a Graphic Solutions Group out of Dallas, Texas. I'm a director of national accounts for the company, and our company is a wholesale sign supplier for the graphics industry. So, like the T-shirt that you're wearing, you have the Nike swoosh on it. We don't sell the shirt, but we sell the screen printing equipment and the inks and everything to do it. The vinyl graphics for wraps on vehicles, and my expertise is in the electrical signage part of it. So when a sign gets built, we don't build it, but we sell the supplies to the sign company to build it. So
Cool. And you're a rookie there. Is that true?
no, no, not a rookie. No, the gray hair tells you I'm not a rookie. I've been uh, I've been with this company for 17 years. I've been in the industry for going on 36 years.
Cool. And what keeps you at the same company for so long?
I've only worked for three companies in 36 years, and I've had the great pleasure of working for three great companies. This company, like I said, it's one of those things where you get other offers to go other places, but you're going, everything, the culture about this company and our owner just really inspires me. I've known him for a long time, and we have a lot of longevity in the company. So everybody just really likes to stay within it and all. And it's one of those things to go, well, you might make a little bit more going somewhere else, but it's not, worth it, because you're going, the culture is so great and it fits what I want to do. So
Yeah. And what's the sale like? Is it a relationship sale? Is it a highly competitive sale?
very, very competitive, very high, but it is highly relationship because for instance, of people that I know. I have a customer down in Austin, Texas, that I knew him when his dad owned the company and he was 14 years old, and now he's 41 or whatever. So it's very much about a relationship, but then it's also the companies I used to work for before were a lot more just on a relationship. Whereas with this company, we really stress being I can never say the word right, consultative seller and everything, and really being a part of their company and helping them get through. So,
Yeah.
but
And
it's, again, we're selling to them the same person. We're selling again and again and again and again. So
and is it the type of business where they think they know what they want, but they really don't?
sometimes they do. Yeah. Like I said, we sell a lot of hardware also.
Yeah.
Some big presses anywhere from $10,000 up to $1 million.
Wow.
So they'll say, well, I want this because I've done my research. And sometimes you got to go, well, because of our experience, I think you might want to look at this other way of doing it. And again, if you whatever you want to do is yours, but I need to say this and such. So yeah, it gets me what you hear used to be, well, my grandfather did it this way, my dad did it this way, and okay, well, that's the way we'll go then. So
Well, that's it. And that's the part of selling that we really separates the great from the good.
mhm.
Because the good will just say, "Oh, okay," and then they get it and they're like not happy with it and they
Yeah,
blame
and
you.
that's what we try to get with the way we try to do things. The way I try to do things is saying, look, said, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm not going to hold back. And if I think that this other product is better, because you have two products, and go, which one do you think is better? I go, well, I think A is better. And they go, well, I think B is better. And then okay, it's your money, but I'm going to give you an opinion, and my opinion is going to be based off of the experience. So,
Yeah. And I think that's a key differentiator in salespeople because
mhm.
it's too easy to just do what they want, but then they're unhappy and that unhappiness is connected to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you are the face of the company and such. And it's no different than like with your businesses. There's sales training that you're doing and everything, and there's other people that offer sales training, but it's where you go, what separates you. And sometimes it's a good fit for somebody to be with you, and sometimes it's not,
Right.
and such. And it's like, okay, then great. I'm not going to get all the business anyway, but I want to find somebody that values. That's where I've really been better in the last, especially the last 12 years, is I want somebody that values what I'm doing and the
Yeah.
time that I'm going to put into it. And if they don't, it's not a problem. They can get their material from somebody else, whatever. But I need somebody that's going to value what we're going to do into it. And we do the same thing with our vendors, especially after the show that happened last year. With the pandemic, is you found out the vendors who were behind you and the ones that weren't. So
Right. And what are some of the important lessons that you've learned in your career in sales? Because I'm sure you weren't born this way, right?
No, no, no. It was really interesting because I was talking to somebody, Jay Benner from Cushman and Wakefield, who recommended me for this. And hi, Jay. He wanted me to give him a shout out. So there, a big thing that when I got into sales when I was 24 years old, I would just, I literally found this job and they said, go sell. And okay. And I worked for this company for 12 years and probably had 2 hours worth of sales training in those 12 years.
Yeah.
So everything was something I learned on my own. I messed it up a bunch, like this didn't work, that didn't work. I went to work for this other company for 7 years, great company, but again, no formal training of anything. The company I work at now, GSG, the owner really believes in training. And, every year we're doing ongoing training. We're hiring consultants. We're doing training within our company on different things. And that's what I like, because when I came onto this, I swore that if I ever got into management, which I was in a sales manager for several years, that I was never going to let people go through what I went through without saying, no, I'm going to show you what not to do so you don't have to make the mistakes I made. So.
Yeah, because it is kind of this weird profession that doesn't have a degree in college. There's no
Mhm.
real vocational school for it. There's a bunch of books, but not a lot of them apply to the complex sale,
No.
right?
Well, and again, it's like you say, we had an incident the other day with the customer that says, hey, I can buy this product from this other vendor and it's 15 cents a foot difference, which is not a ton in our market. And, when we went back and explained to them all the added benefits of dealing with us, not saying anything derogatory about the other vendor, but this is what we have done for you, this, and this. He goes, wow. He goes, I don't even know why I'm even looking at somebody else, because y'all bring so much more value to what I'm doing that it really, I don't even know why I'm looking. And then that just squelched the whole story right there. And we've been good. So.
And that's it. And early in sales, we think it's about price.
Mm-hmm.
But in B2B, it's usually people aren't spending their own money. They're spending the company's money.
Right.
So if they save the company money and fail at their job, that's not a good savings.
No, it's not. I mean, again, it's like, like our owner always tells us, he goes, I want you to, this is your book of business. This is like you control $10 million, $20 million, whatever it is, but you control it and you spend it like it's your money and we'll be okay. And if you think it's a good decision to do this, then I'm fine with it, as long as you err on the side of the customer. So.
Yeah. So what were the lessons you learned from the school of hard knocks? Because you were doing kind of trial and error,
Never to go in and I never realized when they said show up and throw up. I learned that term about 5 years ago, and I didn't realize that I went back to my first 12 years, and that's what I pretty much did everywhere.
Yeah.
Is let me walk in and pound my chest and tell you how great I am and everything. And I really wished way back then there had been podcasts. I honestly, I really do. I really just that's what I do when I drive now. Listen to podcasts and YouTube and all, because I learned so much. So that I've walked into customers in the past and just tell you, say, well, look, you need to buy from me because we're better than the other guy, and the other guy's horrible and all this, and they're going, oh, so I buy from him, so you say that I'm a moron because I buy from him. Well, no, that's not what I meant to say, but I guess that's the way you're taking it. So.
Right. And we always think it's a better product or something, but the person on the other end just wants to get their job done.
Right. And I think that's the one thing that, I've really learned versus my last 17 years versus my first, 20 years or whatever, that it's not about me.
No,
it's not about me. It has nothing. I'm just, like I tell everybody, I go, Taco Bell is the end user. The sign company has to build them a sign. We have to supply it, and my vendor supplies us. So we're all partners in this. And that's one thing I've really changed, is saying it's a partnership on what we're doing. So.
Yeah. And how did you like being in management? Was that?
Oh, that's where all the gray hair came from. I really liked it. Probably my most rewarding things being in management on when I've had people that thought I was being harsh on them. And again, love your walking videos of, Hey, it's the end of the quarter. I was listening to that one this morning. It's the end of the quarter, because it's so true. And it's just like, you're not making it up. But when I've been with people and they thought that I was being very harsh on them, as far as expecting what I expected, when they got out, and I know several people who now own their own business, and they go, wow, I thought you were being harsh, and employees are tough and everything. And now I see other salespeople that come in, and I always, I have one guy that owns a nutrition company, and he goes, I just fold my arms because I know that they're not prepared for the sales call. And I remember you always tell me to be prepared and all this. So yeah, that management really worked on helping me with my empathy. Um, I've always been empathetic. Didn't know what the word was for a long time, but I've always been that way, and it really helps me now understanding, helping people, and then not treating all, because one time I had 12 reports, as many as 25, 30 reports.
Wow.
Is they're all different, and you
Yeah.
cannot train them all the same. You cannot work with them all the same, and you've got to motivate them and inspire them differently. So
Yeah. But what motivated you to go back to being a rep? Was it just you just wanted control over your destiny, or?
we had some changes within the company, and we wanted to expand. Our company's probably, God, in the 17 years I've been here, I think we've increased our business 5 times. And we went from 3 branches to 9 branches, and we're going on a global market now. We used to just be based out of Texas and Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and now we're just basically all the way up to Milwaukee and Minnesota. And I love dealing with bigger companies and large things, and that's a deal that we needed. So they said, all right, well, we need somebody to be the director of national accounts. And so, all right, great. And I'm a grandfather now, so I don't have kids at home, so I can travel at all, and so I can do all that. So it's been really good. I'm still involved. I'm not involved in management anymore, but I still get asked my opinion a lot. But this right now is a great fit for where I am in my career, is because I like going out and dealing with these larger customers that are taking even longer to bring on. I'm dealing with one customer right now that is a ton of business if I were to get it all. And we've been dealing with them for 6 years, and every year it's getting better and better. And this is the year I promised my boss it's going to happen, and it's getting closer. So
Yeah. And certainly when I went into leadership, you really start to understand what a great salesperson is, but you get to see the contrast between all the people.
mhm. It's interesting because like you said, there's nothing in school that teaches you this.
Yeah.
And we had a guy that used to work for us that several people within the company said, I don't think he's a great guy. We all love him. I don't think he's ever going to be a salesman. And then I learned how to inspire him differently because he used to play football in college. So I took that football coach approach to him, which is a little bit rougher. He turned it around, and the next year was our number 1 salesman in the company, and now works for a sign company, which is a customer of ours, and probably makes more money than I do and
But
everything. And he is selling huge deals now. And he goes back and says, he goes, I needed that push, back then, that everybody else would have just sugarcoated it or let him go or not motivated him. He said, I want to push. And it worked for him.
and was it just approaching him like a football coach would have?
Mhm. Yeah. With him, it's, again, some people, they, if you come at them in your face, they curl up.
And they
Some
protect.
people, that's what he responded to
Yeah.
and everything. And, other people, you've got to tell them, okay, look to the future of what you're trying to do, and, go this way. With him, I would say that. He goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I go, okay, I'm sorry, it's not working. So I said, so what's your next job going to be? And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, because you're not working out in this one. So what's your next job going to be? Because you're going to get, either I'm going to fire you or you're going to quit.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I didn't realize it was that serious. They go, well, because I've been hinting and you won't pick up the hint. So now we're just going to go direct at your face. And after that, we would talk all the time. We plan, we strategize, and customers would tell me, they go, oh my God, his follow through is so fantastic now. I go, yeah, I think that's a key thing in sales, Brian, is people think that, okay, well, you gave me the order, I gave you a quote or whatever. And like this is that follow through is, and again, somebody referenced it the other day on a podcast I listened to about golf, in golf, you have to follow through and everything, and the follow through and checking on stuff. And just because you got the order doesn't mean it's done. And just little things like sending an email saying, here's your tracking information. And hey, I was out there and I saw your project. I took a picture of it, and they go, wow, it's just little things like that. It's that really makes you separate you, makes you differently.
And I think a lot of reps are overconfident. Like I did a poll on LinkedIn. How would you rate yourself? A player, B player, C player?
Yeah,
And 70% said A player.
of course.
So
Of
what does
course.
that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and again, it's like you rank, you sit there and rank everybody in the company, and say, okay, great. In this one segment, we have 12 people, and go, okay, well, you think that Matt's the best person, but the numbers are there, and they don't lie, and everything, and you're going, I don't think you're as good as what you think you are, and then like I said, again, everybody thinks that they're that A player, but I think the key thing is when somebody tells you you need to do this, and you don't wear your feelings on your shoulder, and you go, okay, I can see that. And my wife is really good about that. She will tell me, yeah, that's not a good shirt for you to wear. This is, my wife picked out this shirt for me today. This is what you should do, or this is how you should do this. And then you see where it works. And okay, great. So give me some more advice. And I think that's what people do is when you're like, when I was talking to Jay, and during the pandemic, I was giving him little ideas, and doesn't even work for our company. He was in the industry, but a different part of the industry. And I was telling him, I said, man, you can't go see your customers. Take little videos he was selling trucks at the time, of your trucks, and take little videos with you in front, do a demo in front of the truck, and then send it to all your customers. He goes, wow, how did you learn that? And I go, I've been listening to podcasts and reading books, and that's what they're saying to do during this pandemic. And from that, it just has gotten more successful on it. So,
Well, that's it, because he already had this kind of pattern where he knew that the football coach was not judging,
mhm,
was trying to help.
right.
It
Do you
wasn't,
want to be the starter? Yes.
yeah,
Then this is what you need to
you
do.
do, right?
And they bring
It's
that as
not personal.
no, it's not. It's nothing. They look at it. I had a guy that used to work for us that works for another company now, and he tells me, he told me the other day, he goes, you you always told me that I wasn't working hard enough, and I wasn't doing certain things, and I always kept telling you I was. He goes, but now looking back on it, he's been gone for 2 years. He goes, I think you were right. He goes, I think the problems that I'm having right now is because I'm not applying myself enough. I'm just, working 6 hours a day, but I'm not following through and doing all this. I'm not planning. All the things you told me I was doing, I wouldn't listen to you, because now I kind of wished I would have.
Yeah. I had a rep who just couldn't stop talking, and he had this bad habit of talking over you.
Mhm.
And then he asked me, I don't know why I'm not, as successful as this other person. I go, do you really want to know? He go, of course.
Yeah.
And I told
Yeah.
him, and he went quiet. And then he said, I got to go. And he wouldn't talk to me for a couple of days.
Mhm.
I think it was a week. And then he called me and goes, I talked to my wife, and she
Mhm.
goes, he's right.
Yep. Yeah. It is amazing. My wife says that to me. She goes, you talk. She goes, you're not listening. She goes, you're talking and or you're waiting to talk and
Yeah.
everything. And I go, wow. I go, and I tell her she is correct on that. I'm just, she goes, it's a conversation and everything. And that's what a lot of people, one thing I did not know early in my career is just sit back and
Yeah.
listen to what they're saying. And now what you're learning is that, all right, well, the customer has an issue. Let's help solve that issue. Let's be that consultative person and help solve it. And then you go, okay, well, now, Matt, I've got this other thing I want to talk to you about. Or Brian, I got this other thing. And then you're that person, that they go to, because they go, how would you handle this? And we have it within our company because we do so much training that we have customers that will call us up going, okay, I really like the way y'all make your presentations. And this is a customer of ours. Can you tell me what training y'all do? What do y'all recommend? So
Yeah.
then we start giving them these informations, and we have a sales playbook, and, I'll send you my sales playbook. You can look at that. So it's just, it's really, when you know that you're doing well, it's one thing. But when other people are saying, wow, I'm going to implement what you're doing and I'm going to copy it, or I'm asking your opinion, and it's not about a product you're doing, it's fantastic. That,
It,
to me, that's the ultimate compliment you're ever going to get.
and that's it, because it's not just knowledge, it's how well you do it.
Right.
And that you don't just get there and you're done. It's
No.
like a sport. You
Yes.
mentioned golf, every swing. What does everybody do before they hit the ball? They take 2 or 3 practice swings.
Right.
They're warming up.
Yep. Well, I mean, like I said, what we all, like I said, is the one thing, role play, hate role. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But it's necessary.
Yeah.
You've got to practice what you're doing. We've got a trade show next week, and I have some samples that we're going to be putting in the booth. So all I've been doing this week is preparing those samples, making sure they're hooked up, making sure they'll do this and that, because I only have 2.5 hours in that booth when people come by. And if you come by, I don't want to be wiring something up or practicing with it. I need to have it ahead of time. So it's
Yeah.
like you said with golf is, they say Tiger Woods, one of the greatest golfers in the world, right? Him and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, all them. How many endless hours do they spend playing golf?
Right.
Practicing, and then they're ready.
Right. And they have that caddy who's
Mhm.
like talking to them, giving them feedback,
Yeah.
and they
That's
take
that's
it.
actually a really good comparison, because, like I said, is you got this guy goes. I mean, you can't teach Tiger Woods how to golf, or Phil Mickelson, but they listen to their caddy.
Yeah.
So you're going, okay. The same thing is, well, if your sales manager is a good sales manager, and they're being empathetic and trying to help you, because again, if you make more money, I make more money. That's the way this thing goes. So
Right. And I think too many sales managers are kind of on the personal training side. It's like, get to work at this time, do these number of things, send these number of proposals, kind of the activity side and
mhm,
the accountability, which is part of it,
it is.
right? Because in football, you got practice, you got double sessions,
Mhm,
but then during the execution, you got to be able to take feedback.
right. Yeah, it's something that there was when I came to this company 17 years ago, the previous sales manager before me had a thing that he said, okay, you got to go out and make X amount of sales calls a day, and if you do that, you'll be fantastic, you'll be great. And I didn't like that, and I actually said, no, I'm not. My group won't do that. And we had a little talk about that. And I'm going, I said, I can go make 8 sales calls by 10 o'clock in the morning and be done if you just want me to walk in and walk out. But if you want quality, that's going to take a little bit of time. Now, I don't want 8 hours in one place. And then that took a little bit, changing that culture mind a little bit. And now it gets to be that thing going. And we learned the pandemic was horrible and still is horrible. But the one thing that we learned is our business actually thrived during the pandemic. We came out with new ways to do business. And because we were working with these customers, now I can't go, I haven't seen them for a year and a half, but I can pick up the phone and call them and work with them and all these different, and then I can take a video of something and I can send it to them and go, here, this is what I was talking about. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
And everything. And then you're learning these things and you learn to adapt. Whereas a lot of people lost business last year. Our business, did very, very well. And in 2021, we're doing well again, but it's because our owner empowers us. We had a meeting about this morning. Our owner is phenomenally great. He empowers us to, this is your book of business. You work it. So that's been great.
And that's it, because you need the freedom to figure it out. Because if you're worried about, are the people working hard enough,
Yeah,
that's a hiring problem.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, we all know on Friday afternoon no one's working. I can tell my guy, I know you're not working. It's Friday afternoon. I know what you're doing. But by the same token is on Sunday afternoon or whatever, I'm watching a football game, but I'm working on something else, or I'm doing this and that. Like last night I was working on things, and it's that thing. If you want an 8 to 5 guy, that's not me. I'm
Yeah.
not an 8 to 5 guy. Won't ever be. But I will. But if I want to go see my son's baseball game at 3 in the afternoon, I'm going to go do it. But by the same token is I'm going to work till 11 o'clock at night, working on other proposals or things I need to work on. So,
Yeah. And what were some of the other distinctions between the great reps and the okay reps?
the great ones were the ones that were never polished. What I always thought a salesperson would be. Some of our most successful salespeople in our company are not polished. You put them in a lineup, they're not going to be the
The
funnest guy.
lineup.
But they're very good listeners,
Yeah.
and they're very quiet talkers, that's my thing. I'm a big talker, so it has to be for me to pull back and not talk as hard. But the great ones have been ones that have been where they will get in there and they'll listen to the customer, and they're saying, okay, when you're setting up, like in screen printing, you're setting up this whole operation. Let me go through and walk through, and you tell me how you do everything, and then I'm going to sit back and I'm going to go back and analyze it, and then come back and tell you this is how I would think this will help your business the best.
Yeah.
So those have been the people who have been great within our company. The ones who have not been are the ones that just come in there, guns blazing, here we go. And, you need to do this because I'm the best and I do all this. Like, okay. And some people say, they go, you know what, that I don't ever want, it literally was call up and go, I don't ever want that rep back in my office again.
Yeah.
I go, okay. And
Right, because what you described in the former was kind of more of a consultant, more of an expert in the domain,
mhm.
and doesn't sound like a sales rep. Sounds like
Nope.
somebody looking to solve a problem, understand how you're doing it today, how you can improve it.
Right. Well, and like you said, and it's like when you're doing sales training with somebody, when you're sitting there saying this, you're going, like you said, I told the guy, do you really want to hear it? Okay, I'm going to tell you. And then they can either ignore it or take
Yeah.
it. But it's that thing that when we do this, we need to come out of it and say, I want to help the customer. My whole thing is I want to deal with that customer. I love going back and they go, I remember you from 30 years ago and everything. I love hearing, and in our business, it's mostly family owned businesses. We have a few corporations with the buyer groups now coming in, but most of them are family owned businesses. So now, our company is the third generation is now involved in the company. A lot of our customers, second, third generations are involved. So you have a lot of similarities on that and
Yeah.
everything. But I remember I have one customer that I remember I sold a piece of equipment to back in the 80s, and their son, who is now 25 years old, was a baby and literally 2 weeks old in a bassinet sitting over there while we were training on this equipment. And we still talk about that to this day, that I saw you when you were 2 weeks old. So
Yeah. And when you talk to new reps at the company, what advice do you give them?
oh, that's when you were asking about things that make motivate me and all. With the new reps that I'm not in management
Yeah.
now,
They just
I
they
get
see you
more
have
phone
success.
I get more phone calls because well, I understand you're not in management, so you can't yell at me, but I understand that you can help me with this. And with the new reps, that's what I tell them. I said, guys, I said, you've got all this experience. We had a call about this morning. We have 500 years of experience in this group. Why do you want to reinvent it? Ask around. Brian, how would you do this? This is what the customer said. And I said, if you will do that, if you will check your ego at the door and do that, your life is going to be so much easier. And I said, don't do it the way we did it back in the day and everything. But listen to what people are saying, ask their opinion. And we have a group text with our group, with our division, and somebody put a question in there going, hey, how would you do this? And here come all these great opinions, and everybody brings it from different aspects of knowledge. So with the new reps is I try to really be very empathetic with them when I give my opinions on them and everything, but also tell them that the more you want to learn, you can learn, and there's so much out there, and there's so many resources. One of the things I miss about driving for long times right now is with Audible, with books and podcasts and everything, and all of a sudden now we're starting to get out. And I said, oh my God, this is great because I can listen to all these, 8 hours of podcasts while I'm driving. This is great. And so making it and like we talked about this morning, LinkedIn, which is a great mystery to everybody, trying to get better at it. And everybody tells you, just start throwing it out there, see what you throw out there. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I had one customer that actually it's an end user customer, called me up the other day because he goes, I got sent your video on LinkedIn that you did about this one product. I want to talk to you about this. Well, of course, I don't sell to him. I sell to the guy's going to build it for him. but he goes, the way you're doing it in the video, I liked it. He goes, so can you recommend somebody? So yeah, so I call up a customer and I tell them about these things, and we can just look back at that and go, that was just a goofy video, like, no different than you're, walking
My
videos
goofy
from
videos. Yeah.
and everything. But you're bringing that experience, and again, and just learning, don't make a 30-minute video, make a,
Right.
2-minute video on it and everything. And seeing the different stuff that comes up is great. I'm getting just now on a co-video. I'm going to get ready to work with them on some stuff because I want to do the videos in the email, and I've been talking about it for, a year. Haven't done it, but now I see it. They're going, I still want to do that because I think that personalizes so much. And plus, I was watching your video with the lady from Co-Video and Marketing. I can't remember her name last night. I was watching it, and I've watched it twice. I still don't remember her name, but she was saying about that, if you ask her, oh yeah, everybody does this. Well, of course, then you ask the world and no one's doing it.
No one's doing it. Very
And
few.
everything.
Yeah.
But then my boss told me the other day, I was telling him about it, said, hey, I'm going to try this and, try it and see how it works. And he goes, I got a video from somebody the other day in an email, and it was like, hi, Mark, I'm here or whatever. And he goes, it got my attention. I opened it up and I go, well, see, that's what I'm hoping to do. So.
Well, especially in a visual business like yours,
Mhm.
when you can show people the difference, examples, competitors,
Right.
alternatives.
Well, and again, and you're just like she was saying, you just be yourself. You're personalizing it. You're making it yourself. And again, it's like it's like when you're walking and everything. You're walking through your neighborhood. You're doing this and that. It's just casual
Right.
and everything, but you're getting the point across and all. And it's when that's it. You want to be yourself.
Right.
And everything. And the moment you're yourself, I always tell everybody when they're new, I said, take a little bit of what Brian does, take a little bit of what I do, take a little bit of what Joe does, and then put your spin on it. Make
Right.
it, don't,
Yours.
we're not cookie cutters.
Oh, cool. Hey, Matt, really appreciate your time today. Where can people go to connect and follow you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, and obviously on LinkedIn. Our company's website is gogsg.com and everything, or they can send me an email at matt.smith at gogsg.com. So